We sit the man down and he tells us what is his genius, that he's here to serve others. Like, what could you get paid for from the group of men here who have been witnessing you? And a lot of them are so far away of knowing anything about what really, like, what's the real superpower? What's their genius? And then at once you have 20, 30 men reflecting back to you and telling you what you're good at. And that is the power of community. Like, personal development secluded, there's the time for it. You have to do certain things alone. But for everything else, you need the community. Because if not, it's like, how delusional can I be alone? Massively delusional.
Daniel, I've been thinking about you for a couple of weeks, wanted you on the show. You're here, and for anyone that might not know you, who are you and what have you spent your career doing if you had to summarize it?
Yeah, it's amazing being here, Morgan, and just love the work you do, first of all.
Thanks.
And my name is Daniel Müller, and I help people become the person they were born to be. And it started off for me with a lot of pain, addictions, depression, a lot of rough moments in life. And after a while, I was just like, I don't want to suffer anymore. And the big question was then, how do I do that? And my beginner part, and what most people got to know me here in Stockholm for, was being one of the first Wim Hof method instructors in Sweden. And so I help people get into the cold, overcome their fear, engage with discomfort and challenges so they can handle their stress and perform better. But also breathwork was a big one there, and mindset training. And over time, I was seeing that the most important one was the breath and the mindset, because the cold just scares people away. So a lot of people were like, I'll come for the breathing, but not the ice bath. And I was like, okay. So then I thought I'll study it a while and I'll be done in a year or two about breathwork. And then this whole world just opened up to me. And I noticed there's like over 2,000 different techniques all over the world, some thousands of years old, some were newly invented just in the 60s, 70s. And I ended up studying them and synthesizing them because they were all saying, look, I have the Holy Grail. I got it. It's rebirthing.
Yeah.
It's pranayama. It's this. This is the ultimate. And the funny thing is that they all were right. But they only had one piece of the pizza, of the cake. And so I started putting all of these pieces together, synthesized it then for the modern Westerner to understand. And then started teaching it together with Johnny Oduya and Hale Center. So we opened up the first breathwork center that unified all major breathing practices in one place. We did virtual, we did in Rio, in our studio, we did B2B, we did B2C, we did app, we did way too many things at the same time. But through that, I trained over 50 breath guides in that time in our school, you could say. And they're now all over Sweden, people, and helping companies specifically. And some of them became more successful than me in 9 months, which is the whole point of the training, was to educate them faster than me needing 6 years to get there. And that was kind of like my beginner drug into entrepreneurship. So from that line of entrepreneurship then, I recognized that I'm really good in systematizing, distilling, and then helping people on their path forward. So from that point, I went deep into coaching, into leadership, into authentic relating, because I was seeing the same problems in people over and over and over again, where we always think our pain and our suffering is unique, but we really share all of that together. And so I started just helping more and more people and having like this checklist of things that people go through: physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain, and then how do we advance through them? And that brought me then 3 years ago to Seoul to found it with Fabian Bolin. And we got the calling to help men specifically. So I was like done with Hale and asked the universe, my intuition, whatever you want to call it. And it said, go help the men. And first I was a little resistant. I was like, we're in Sweden, helping the men. What are people going to think? You know, and but then obviously I checked in, and it is true. Like the least attention is what the men get. It sounds crazy, right? Like people probably don't believe what I say right now, but men suffer in silence. And very often they're the ones holding everything together. So they're the ones at the top, meaning serving everyone else, and they get the least attention. And I learned one truth through working with over 160 men by now, going through our programs the last 3 years, is that no one really cares about how men feel. I'm gonna get a lot of partners right now. No, I care about my man. Or you care about that the man functions. And that is not wrong. That's, it's the safety aspect for the woman that the man functions and delivers. But when a man is really down, we just want to fix him. And it's a like a scope today that is very interesting to look at. So we created a map and a year-long program right now. And in that program, we help men discover their power, which is being yourself. Because the world is trying to tell every man who they should be and how they should act, but just being yourself and acting from that place is power. And then we help them with their destiny, their direction in life. Where are you going? Why are you going there? And what does this mean to you? And then the third is we help them with alliance, like a true community of brothers who are helping you on your path to reach your highest self. And there's a lot of men out there that are successful, but they are playing just at a fraction of their potential. And that dissonance, I think this is what we're all feeling in the world right now. A bunch of men just trying to stick with the basics instead of looking what can I actually serve in the world. And that is going to help us excel. Because for me personally, it was similar. Until I found something bigger than myself to serve, I was just playing small. And now I have so many things to take care of and not more responsibility, things I chose. And I just want to give more. I want to give more love. I want to give more efforts and just double down on bringing as much as I can with the time that I have here on this planet. That's really what we want to bring out in the men. And we see day after day, they become better fathers, better husbands and partners. They become just better bosses and entrepreneurs and just humans per se. And what are we really here to do but create the best possible future together?
Amen. Thank you for that amazing introduction. And there are so many things I could unpack from there. And you hit a soft spot in me when you mentioned that guys' feelings are not heard or are not taken serious, or that was like the biggest issue. Would you say that that was the biggest issue that men report from your program, that their feelings are not welcome or not taken seriously? Or
Yeah,
or did I hear that wrong?
no, it's like kind of like was similar. I said men's feelings, emotions don't really matter.
Yeah, they don't matter, and that it's more important than that the men function.
Yes.
Because when I'm not functioning due to burnout or an injury, when I had an accident where the axe went into my leg and I wasn't functioning and my feelings weren't relevant, that I was not functioning was an issue. Like I got stories like that, so I could like really relate, and I was like, man, that is so freaking true what you're saying right there.
And how did that feel for you when you were going through that experience of not being able to bring the usual value that you bring to the table?
I felt mostly maybe a little bit hurt. Actually, I felt hurt that I was hurting and I didn't feel support.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, now as a man, I cannot do the heavy lifting, open the doors, plow the snow when there's a snowstorm. And I was also a little bit, I was taking a little bit too much of a risk while I was using the axe. It felt a little bit, not embarrassment, but I felt a little bit like guilt.
And if we unpack that a little more, like guilty for what exactly?
For not being able to be that man that just functions.
There's a subliminal truth that we're facing over and over, is that if a man doesn't bring value, he is not valuable. And it's different for women. I mean, like, I'm now painting a little bit polarities.
Yeah.
So there's obviously everything in the middle as well. But women per se have an inherent value that they bring. And that inherent value is obviously bringing birth to the next generation, but also just their beauty and their being. And this is why also they are valued more than a man who doesn't bring value. So when we see it, like if we look at it, who's the cannon fodders of war? It's not women, it's men. And it's a lot of men. And we look at the Ukraine right now, we can clearly say that that's the case. That's also when most people say, I don't want equality anymore. Men are so little worth that they're the cannon fodders of war. Yeah. And then the men who bring the most value are the most prized. And that's why it seems like men are at the top of things. And I mean, we're not gonna we can go back into the last 100 years of history where men have been dominating in so many ways. It's a big package to unpack. But just looking at the basics, men who don't bring value are not worth anything. And so deep down inside, we all feel that need to provide, protect, defend, bring some form of value. And right now, through the women having all kinds of opportunities without us, there's this feeling of like, so what's my role now? What am I going to do now? And so there's a disillusion happening on a wide scale. But if we look at now, again, if you are a man of value and you cannot perform in bed, you cannot perform in business and make money, you cannot perform emotionally, like what does that make you? And makes men impotent. And impotence is one of the worst experiences that a man can actually have. And not only just sexually, but physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And so there is the thing that, I mean, it doesn't really matter what a man is going through, he has to just perform. And that's subconsciously like triggering all kinds of mechanisms in us, like the pleaser guy in Sweden, specifically the nice guy. Yeah, always trying everyone to like me, please, please, please. And then you have all kinds of variations that come out of that. So when I say it doesn't matter what you feel is, if you're frigging angry, frustrated, where do you go to? Who can hold your anger? Who can hold your rage as a man? I mean, it's just scary for any woman to hold a man's rage. Who is going to do that? And this is what came in, and that's just one of the layers. Other men love holding other men's rage. We're built for it. We were never
Yeah.
to be alone holding families and companies, and everyone comes to us for stuff, but we have nowhere to lean on. It was a brotherhood all along. It was a bunch of men you kind of like lean back on, and they're going to hold you to your highest standard, help you. And that's where a man can find his place and release and be held in his extremes. Because obviously, every woman wants the sweet side of a man. Yeah, I care about his emotion. Yeah, when he's frigging angry and frustrated, I'm quite sure not. And so
Yeah.
work with brothers and get it into the right place and use it for fuel for advancing in life.
So if men's work sounds like screaming into a pillow or drumming naked in the woods, what is it actually before men instantly judge it? Because you've probably seen the new Swedish documentary about men's work.
I actually haven't yet. I
I
heard
can't
about.
remember the name about it, but he was like, before he did this documentary, he was doing a documentary about feminism. He was a feminist, so he was actually going into these men's group to ridicule them in the documentary. But it turned out that he just like started unpacking his own wounds, and he got his father involved in the meetings, and there were a lot of things going on. He didn't like in the end come to a conclusion of like this is, but he came to the conclusion that important things has been unpacked within like the different men's group communities, and he found himself turning to one of the mentors often for guidance and help. So it was a beautiful documentary as well. I'm going to put it in the show notes. I can't remember the name of it. It just came out. So what is men's work actually? Because there are a lot of ideas floating around. And when I mention coaching men, they often go and ask me, is this some Andrew Tate shit?
Yeah, it's a great question there, and the documentary sounds great. So, like for me, it started like 9 years ago when I came to Sweden 11 years ago, and then I found a community at Norden, and there I bumped into Alexander Barth and a bunch of men, and they were talking about men's work. And they were talking about men's groups. And I think that all of this work out there, everything from Mankind Project, the Sacred Sons, everyone who's doing this work is doing phenomenal work. It's beautiful just to see anyone who is helping men just discover who they are and live a better life is doing a great job. Personally, I think that, you know, there's always steps to any development, and then there's to everything, there's a downside. So it's not, are they good or what is men's work? It's like all men's work is great. Just a bunch of men coming together to talk with each other once a week, once a month, already much better than a man alone. Because men alone is a huge problem. And like sometimes men, they don't need therapy, they just need some good people around them. And people who want to talk honest, truthful processes through. And so all of them are really, really great. We personally at Seol, we're distancing ourselves from being associated with men's work, even though we work only with men at the moment. We're also going to have a Seol for her at a certain point. But the main thing is just that I see that what we do goes beyond the process of a man. It goes into all aspects of life. And this is really the training we've been developing. So, but if we just stay with the question, which was, what is men's work? Men's work is a bunch of men coming together to figure the fuck out who they are.
Yeah.
And act accordingly.
Love that explanation.
That's really what is going on in men's work. It's not some like, oh, some need to go scream in the forest and reclaim their wild side. Some men need to work on their emotional, mental, spiritual states in diverse different ways. And everyone has a different angle. You know, there's the business guys without soul. They need to lean into their soul. Then there's the emotional guys with all the relationships, but they have no frame, no discipline, no nothing. They're physically weak very often too. They need to go into those parts because the weakest link messes up their greatest foundation. And that's how we also operate. So we have a diverse group of men coming in, but what unites us all is that we want to create the best possible future for ourselves, our families, and our community. And that requires deep, deep dedication. Because this is not a joke. Like, we as men, when we take 100% responsibility for ourselves, we start taking 100% responsibility for everything in our life. And that includes our families, that includes our community. And the more power we get, power not in power in force, but power in the recognition what the impact is that we have on everyone. Like, what's my impact on you? What's the impact on my wife? What's the impact on my kids? What's the impact on everything I touch? That power of creating or destroying, of preserving, that is the essence that we're then looking at. And as soon as we recognize the power we have in our life and how destructive some of our behaviors are towards ourselves and others, that's the moment when we see, oh my God, like in 10 years of changing how I behave towards more of what is true in my heart, soul, mind, emotions, body, everywhere, the more I know I'm going to create a world in which I actually want to have children grow up in. And right now we look around, like in our opinion, the lack of mature male leadership is the reason why it looks like chaos everywhere. Because are the leaders truly mature in what their choices and actions are showing? Or are they all more acting like spoiled little brats in grown-up bodies with a lot of force power? And at the moment, because like mature leaders, mature masculine leaders in our world wouldn't start wars. They would try to prevent them. They aren't looking at gaining more for themselves in a small community of already wealthy and powerful people, but try to go sure that it spreads everywhere. Like the dignity of a king is in how he serves his people, not how much his people serve him. And so there's a huge misconstruction in masculinity and what it is and what not, and men are evil and it's all their fault and all those stories. It's total bullshit. It's all total bullshit. The majority of men have always suffered together with the women and children, and a few have dominated the many. And even through the process where men seemed on top for the hundreds of years, if we go and talk with the majority of men, they're not going to tell you a story how privileged they are. They're going to tell a story how they suffered for their families and died and lived for them. And the story is still going on today. So that's a little thing there. What do you think about all of that, Morgan?
There's a couple of things to unpack, and a question that comes to mind, and that is because we mentioned also like being in Sweden. I can sense in how we're talking that we need to address like these things. Like it's not okay to just talk about masculinity, to talk about as if it's not okay for us to focus on men, helping men, empower men, that it comes in direct opposite about what about the women? That is like the first knee-jerk response. Oftentimes when you mention that you need to help men develop, become stronger, become more embodied, lift them up, create brotherhood, but what about the women? So if we are focusing on men, it doesn't mean that we are ignoring or being totally blind to the issues that women face. It's just that we, as you said in the beginning, that we haven't shed the light on the issues that men are facing. If you're functional, you're good. We're not gonna like look under the hood on a man that's already functioning. But what is really going on beneath that guy, beside him just functioning? Those are my just like spontaneous reactions from it.
Absolutely. I mean, who benefits from a bunch of men stepping into their true, mature leadership and power? Like if
Who benefits? Yeah.
yeah, who
Yeah.
would benefit?
Yeah, great question. The
Who
men, the
benefits?
community, the women, the children, society,
Everyone. Like,
everyone.
you know, there's this thing going around like, I don't need a man. And I'm like, okay, so let's just look at the infrastructure that is being upheld by men.
Yeah.
That's the reason why people can say I don't need a man. Because it's invisible. It's all invisible nowadays. All of the hard work of men is invisible. Because you don't see the guy who's fixing the pipes and the toilets and building the houses anymore. There's a total disconnection from what they receive to where it comes from. And where it's come from is still based on the majority of masculine effort. And so the infrastructure of humanity to live in the comfort zone, to be able to just sit at home and watch television, is all based still on that energy, but it's invisible. So people don't recognize that anymore. And I know I might be misinterpreting for some how it's being meant. No, today, thanks to men building all the infrastructures, you don't need a man anymore. Good job, right? It's been well done. It's to that place where now a woman can be absolutely free of the support of a man. They can build their own business. They can use all the infrastructures that were created. It is a wonderful place. Now, the process of when a man is in immature leadership, who is that impacting? Again, the same people. So we're right now experiencing immature leadership. So those are men who are egotistic, narcissistic, thinking about themselves, taking more than they're giving. And that is the cycle that we want to break. So the main foundation that we could say in Seol, I mean, our biggest fans are the partners, the wives, and the children of these men. They become more present. They're more there. They step into, you know, taking more ownership. They're willing to guide and lead in a mature way again, listening to the women. I mean, one of the first things we teach is just to shut the fuck up and listen. Stop trying to fix. Listen and understand first. Make the other person feel seen, heard, and understood. And the moment that happens, usually people want to listen as well. And so the structures and the things that we're teaching and training men to do are the foundational pieces that every woman loves having in their life. And immature men go around and they do a lot of damage, as immature women do. Yeah. I mean, like when we meet as men, we're not whining about women. We could, oh, yeah, I was mistreated there, and they don't do it, and they did this, and but we don't do that. Because we're men. We take responsibility. We say it's all on us. Let's take responsibility. So we whine never about the women. Like every man who came in Seol, they don't say, I want to dominate the world and I want to have more for me. You know? They're all saying, I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father. I want to be more present and give my loved ones what they really deserve from me. I want to be healthy. I want them to be healthy. I want to lead them into a better future. And I know it's on me right now because I'm the bottleneck, like any good leader does.
And have you seen a pattern in the guys you coach that if there's a frame of mind or a mindset shift that has like a super great impact on how they continue like going through the program? What are some of like the big unlocks for guys in the program?
Yeah, I mean, since this is a year long, just distilling it to one thing would be hard because, like, imagine wherever you come from, there's a different angle that's going to hit for you. But the main one is over and over the same. The only one to point the finger at is you. So if there's anything in your life that you don't enjoy or that is not right, you're the one to change it. There's always the 3 layers that people use as excuses. The outer layer is circumstances. Yeah, the weather, it's not the right time, la la la. Then
The
next,
kids waking me up.
anything like that. I mean, like, believe me, I sit with so many men, and there's the one who make excuses and the ones who make things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about real processes, but what is real and what is not is very different for other people. So what is like unchangeable for one man is done in 10 minutes by the other. It's like, oh, my kids wake up too early all the time. And it's like, how long does it take for you to install something that is going to take care of that? It's just like, for some, it's dead end. For others, it's just another challenge. You get over, you get under, you go through, you create some magic, whatever needs to be done will be created. And so that's the second line, then blaming other people. My spouse, my kids, my boss, my whatever. And then the last layer, which is also a lie, is blaming yourself. I'm not worthy. I'm too stupid. I'm not competent enough. Whatever you put behind that. And if we dig down through all of these layers, underneath it is either you want to do it or you don't. And that's the place where we operate from man to man. So when I land with a man on that level, it's like, so do you want to do it or not? Like, you want your health? Do you want to pay the price for it or not? Do you want to stop drinking, eating shit, get up early, rise with the sun, or get some sunshine, go into nature? Do you want to do it, or you want to get sick and pay the price of regret later? Because you know, and I know, what it costs. It's the price of discipline. Or you're going to pay the price of regret later. And the only answer that I want from any man is like, I want to, or I don't want to. And if I want to, then we need to define what pain are you willing to endure to receive what you want, because wanting is not enough. So that's one of like the key elements that I would say for us just to land together is just like, can we speak from man to man? You want it? You want to pay for it with your time, your energy, your attention, and your resources? Or you don't? Because anything we can reach with that mindset. Does that land with you when you hear that?
Yeah, I'm when you speak, I reflect over myself, and I know how I act when I want it. I'm full force with it. Like this podcast, for example. Even if I don't sleep or whatever happens, and whatever has been happening, like with some of the loss of energy that I've gone through, I still make time. I still make the energy to record a podcast every week, and it works out. And also, one thing that I've started incorporating in how I think about like goal setting and how I'm going to design my life going forward is also like having alignment. So this is also something that is like truly aligned with myself. I'm congruent with it, but also together with my wife, we are both aligned with this mission. So that's beautiful.
So what I hear you say is that if you really want something, you create the time and the effort and you put it in. And for that to happen, you need to be aligned, obviously, with the people, especially with your wife, right? Your partner. So you're co-creating, you're the co-captains of the ship. And when there's alignment, then there's easier flow to make it happen. And so clarity, this is where we're going.
Yeah.
By action and the will to want it, even when the initial spark of enjoyment of doing it, I mean, in the beginning, it's like, yeah, it's super nice. But then the price comes, right? Like the price meaning you need to put in the effort over and over and over if you feel like it or not, if you're sick or not, if this is happening. but you do it because you're aligned. And it's very important what you're just saying with that, because like we always start with clarity, with direction, with where am I and where do I want to go? And if we're not aligned with our emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical world, we can go very astray. And we climb mountains that are not worth climbing. So I hear that there's, I know that there's a big process happening in you right now of shedding and restructuring. And I love seeing your process there and the courage that you bring to the table to be in the unknown, because it takes a certain type of character to do that. Too many hold on to the old known because it's known and are not willing to surrender and allow life to pass through us and move us into the next stage. So like a big shout out to you for doing the work, brother.
Yeah, thank you, brother. And you didn't have, I want to just like give you the flowers while you're still alive, because like this Kanye West song, like people seldom get the flowers while they're still like, I always knew that line. Now I forgot the line. But I wanted to like segue into something you said that, so about men avoiding certain emotions. What emotions do men avoid so hard it ends up running their life away?
It's usually two: grief, sadness, or anger.
And where do they stem from?
Suppression, like, the way that we operate is like mapping. Mapping is a way of showing a territory in an easy way that you can follow. Like everyone knows northeast, southwest, and the compass. And then a map is a territory depicted in a two-dimensional world. And so from 2D, we look on top onto the map, and you see a forest here, and there's a street. So yeah, Google Maps is a mapping system. And none of us have a mapping system and a GPS system for life. And so when we talk about each of the formations that a man is going through, we always have one side and the opposite polar side, and both of them are happening. So if you go right, there's going to be a left afterwards. If you go up, there's going to be a down. If we go in, there's going to be an out. So everything is a polarity in this world. It's one of the laws of the universe. So on one side, you have weakness. On the other, you have strength. Remove one and you remove the other. So they work together. They're married. Yeah, the masculine and the feminine. They come from polar opposites. They fit into each other perfectly. They're married to each other for eternity. That's how the whole universe works. So I need just that as a little background.
Yeah.
Because if we talk about where does it come from, we need to just look at some have the same situation and they react completely opposite. So one becomes more angry and then uses anger to avoid their grief and sadness. And then others completely suppress their anger because it's not allowed, right? A man angry, oh, no. They suppress their anger and are completely wallowed in their grief and sorrow. And just imagine those two different types of men. One, and the other just flared up constantly. And this is what we see in our youth right now, because there's very few men guiding them to understand how to actually use anger in a healthy way. Because anger, it's hard. Men are dangerous by nature because they're supposed to protect and defend, and also attack at times when it's necessary. So to tell men that they shouldn't be that way is just literally trying to castrate them.
Yeah.
And castrated men don't do good men. They want to be dangerous for the right things, and they want to be in contact with their grief and their sorrow and their sadness, but not be governed by that and feel weak. And so these are like archetypes from Jung, where we always look at one side as too little identification and the other is too much identification. And at the best, you're holding both. So I am and I'm not it. Yeah, I notice sadness or anger, but I am not my sadness and anger. And some people think they are their sadness and their anger, and they act from that. I know I can sing a good song about all of them. But like my knowledge and wisdom is not theoretical. I fucked up myself so many times in life, and I paid the price for it. And then I just said I'm going to go through it. I'm never pointing the finger at anyone. I'm like, I totally get you. I'm so grateful that life beat me down so many times, so I really understand the problems of the men that I work with. But they are what it just leads to then. That can be in childhood. For example, you have a parent who is constantly showing you that your anger is not welcome. Yeah, so you shut it down because as kids, we want to be safe more than authentic. But to become a healthy individual, we need to feel safe and be authentic. That's why we're also saying men today are not authentic. Majority of just playing a role, of performing until the mask breaks.
How do you train a man to being authentic?
It's a great question. So we practice this like literally every day. So our space is a space where men voice things they would never tell anyone else. And that's because they know that this is the space for that to happen.
And could you share an example?
Yeah, I mean, anything from your deepest childhood wounds to what you really feel right now about your life. And to dive deeper into like how to be authentic is a practice. It's not just something you're like, I'm going to be authentic now. No, we need to be willing to do mistakes in order to be authentic, meaning you have to say the stupid thing you don't want to say. You actually have to step into the beginner. Now in society, everyone's just like, like specifically Sweden is like the biggest country I know, and like I've ever, like in Germany, we're like, shut the fuck up at times, or like be this and that. And sometimes I think that the Germans are just rude. Yeah, people here.
But I love that approach more. It's like, because I'm half Swedish, half Egyptian, because if I gain weight, they're going to tell me like, you're fat. But in a loving way, it's just like normal. It's not a big deal.
Exactly.
They just tell it how it is.
Yeah, and here it's really like the don't say it straightforward, say it over 10 corners, and talk shit about someone else behind their back. Yeah, that's the main culture that I see here. No offense, anyone listening here, Swedes, I love you. Like one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, they're only 50% of the listeners, but
yeah, exactly. I am half German, half Uruguayan, so I have the Spanish side, sometimes a little heated, right? And people are like, Sweden here. Other places, they're like, I love this. You're so real, Daniel. And I'm like, yeah, people love or hate me according to how much authenticity they can actually deal with. And the authentic part then is like, hey, so who are you when you stop playing this mask? What's going on there? What are your real desires? What are the things? And so many men are so scared to open up to their partners about their real desires. They're very scared to bring out anything that might shake the boat. Sometimes we have to go and shake the boat, or everything that's not supposed to be there to actually just fall off. And that is what keeps so many people like what they call stuck. Stuckness is very often just a lack of inaction of the things you know you should be doing.
Daniel, I feel it's a little bit like method acting going on, because people are so used to the mask. They are so used to the role. Yeah. I feel that they don't even know what is their authentic expression, what is their authentic thoughts, and they can't distinguish between the real you and the way I'm acting. Because the fear, you mentioned people pleasing before, because like the fear that I need to please all the time or I will be excluded from the tribe is like so high alert all the time. And I've been struggling with this myself for many years. So I know how it is when I'm just like scanning the surrounding all the time and not being in connection with my own body.
I totally feel you there. And like, I mean, I was highly delusional myself about who and what I am for a long time. I mean, this is why we don't do like a weekend retreat. We're not doing a 60-day thing. We started actually off with a 60-day training and we're like, this is not enough. Like for real change to happen, we're talking about a year at least, more like 1.5, 2 years, like to really deep dive in yourself while not letting go of the things you need to take care of, which is your business, your family, and all of those things. Like, it takes time. And that's why we also start with a man in a year and then we stay with them for life. That's the whole thing. It's a support system for life. We're doing way more than anyone or any course I know is out there. And we're just getting started. And our course or our program is definitely not perfect. Like, I'm very unsatisfied. The men are pretty happy. I'm very unsatisfied because I know where it could be and will be. But we're giving it our all. And the main thing is just there then, if you really want to know who you are, you need the mirror. You need a bunch of other men reflecting back to you while you're doing your messy, unpracticed act. And then, like, for example, we have one exercise that we do in season 2, season 3, or like pillar 2 or 3, like after 10 weeks, 20 weeks together. We sit the man down and he tells us what is his genius, that he's here to serve others. Like, what could you get paid for from the group of men here who have been witnessing you? And a lot of them are so far away of knowing anything about what really, like, what's the real superpower? What's their genius? And then at once you have 20, 30 men reflecting back to you and telling you what you're good at. And that is the power of community. Like, personal development secluded, there's the time for it. You have to do certain things alone. But for everything else, you need the community, because if not, it's like, how delusional can I be alone? Massively delusional. Massively, like completely bonkers. But a bunch of men around you practicing the same thing, they read us like it's so clear. You know, like right now, I mean, I see a reflection of my face here. But the truth is, we never see our own face with our own eyes. Everyone sees right away what we have in our face. So that's where the truth comes out in so many ways, because it's not just one guy saying it. It's not just 3. It's like 20, everyone nodding. Yeah. Everyone feels truth. Truth is felt in the room. When that truth lands and people are like, oh, wow, I have never seen myself this way, because I was the fish swimming in the water, not recognizing the water. So this is where it's like, those are my most fun moments, when the aha moment drops. Like, that's what people see in me.
And this brings me to something that is disturbing me so much about the culture we're living in right here, because we don't have the culture of telling anybody that you're great at this, you're shining at this is your genius. I heard just like a business coach around 10 years ago, shout out to Regina Doimas, you changed my life. She just told me that you should start a business and you would be great at design and website stuff and branding and stuff like that. She was like, you're brilliant. I never met someone like you. Like, I never heard that from anybody. So I started a company, and the rest is history. But I remember that moment so deeply, because it's such a lack in our society. Even if you're a screw up and I think you're horrible in some way, why couldn't I tell you like you're so off-putting right now?
I think you're pointing out something really important. I mean, we all know Jantelaget, Lagom, no one sticks their head out, and all that kind of like culture. And it's kind of funny. I mean, Sweden is the country with the biggest wealth gap in the whole world.
Really?
Yeah, at least I read that. I might get some misinformation, but
that must be thanks to the Wallenbergs, Wallenbergarna.
Yeah, and I mean,
something like that.
Due to many features, I mean, like, it's the same thing as trying to equalize masculine and feminine. It just didn't work. Yeah. The more we try to make things the same, the more difficult it becomes, instead of celebrating each other's differences. And to celebrate each other's differences is just such a beautiful thing. It's like, I am okay with not being on the same place as you in XYZ. And because you are at a different place than me, I can learn from you, or I can show you and help you. And we're not trying to be all the same, because all the same is absolute nonsense. It's such a nonsense theory. There are some things that unite us, and that's what we should highlight. We all breathe, we all love, we all want to be seen, heard, understood, all of those features that we can highlight. We can be like, this is what makes us the same. Hey everyone, this is what makes us all the same. There's nothing special about you. If you're breathing, for example, you're alive. And you're going to feel during this time, and you're going to think a lot of weird stuff, and you can control your mind if you put in the things. There's things that we all base, for example, our whole program is founded on the common denominator. What can we boil down tons and tons of information into what all unites everyone together? And then from that place, it is all about the individual. It is customizable. The future of all things, personal development, learning, everything is customized. Meaning, where is the person at? What's their next step? Where are they heading? Create that plan, take action, reiterate over and over and over again. So what unites us is the base. That's where we're all the same. And then we have to honor each other's differences. And people, like, The moment I recognize why, for example, my relationships were a little weird when I was younger, because I thought people were like me.
Sorry, so, like I was exactly like that.
Exactly. I was like, why don't they get it? Like, are they stupid? The only one stupid was me, because I thought they were like me. I notice I'm frigging weird
Yeah.
at times. And people are sometimes exactly the opposite, and that is perfectly right for them. And to really like this work has like illuminated my field. It's just like, no. They're opposite to me, and just because they're opposite doesn't make them wrong. It makes them exactly as they were meant to be. I just now need to see it from their position. Can I hold my perspective and their perspective without shutting down and putting them as the enemy? And that's a sign of intelligence. There's a few signs of intelligence that we always note out in Seol. How fast can you change your behavior when you know it's an unuseful behavior? That's one big one. But then the second one is, can you hold many opinions and beliefs at the same time without needing to take a position yet? It's not about not having a position. That's all bullshit. Everyone has a position. We all know everyone has an opinion. But can you first try to understand other people's place, where they're coming from? Because everyone has a pretty good point if we allow that to happen. Like right now, the division of what's going on in the world is all trying to, like, oh, here's the guys who want, like, these are carnivore, these are just fruits, and they're against each other. They're closer to each other than everyone else, but they're already in conflict with each other because they differ in these 1-2 things. Instead of just saying, hey, we think similar, and we just want to spread that message. And so there's this division, always more and more and more people having a problem with someone who thinks different than them. And that is a common strategy for trying to take over and control. Unity, in my eyes, is the only way, and unity means we find a way together. I don't agree with you, and I don't have to, and you don't agree with me. What is the solution to the situation? How can we move forward from here where you and I feel that we're winning together? Win-win-win situation is the only way how this planet is going to get their shit straight. Yeah? Not I win over you, I dominate you. Long-form cycle, we already know what happens. More violence, more pain, more fuckery. And it's hard. It's way harder to sit with someone and listen, truly understand and listen. Yeah? Especially when they say things that we don't want to hear, we don't agree with. And then try to find a common way through is way harder than just bashing them.
Let's go there. When someone says something that you don't agree with, especially when it's about your character, your own self, your own image of the person you think you are, how do you handle like critique or judgment? Because I've had like a hard time dealing with, especially when my wife was critiquing me, or maybe I took it as criticism when it wasn't, and just shutting up and listening to her point of view is something I really I had to really train on that.
So it's a really great question that you're asking here, and it is really a training, as you say. And especially, I mean, it's quite painful to hear from your wife that this or that is not working. And there's a thing that we always bring in and educate our men on is, number one, who and why is talking to you, right? It depends on the context. But now if we take your example with your wife, women speak what they feel. It's very different. They're not actually saying what they mean. That's men. Men say what they mean. And like, I'm now generalizing again, don't take me wrong, there's a lot of women who say what they mean as well. But when they come in distress, they're sad, they speak sadness. Are the facts true? Very often not. Like, I had a very hard time. I'm like, this is completely crazy and delusional. Like, this never happened. Then I turned off the volume on what is being said. And it's no disrespect, really. I listen very, very clearly. I use active listening right now. For example, every time you speak, I hear you in my head, repeating it simultaneously. Why I hear you here, I hear you in my mind. So I use that on people, but it didn't match. I was like, what is happening here? So I turned down the volume on the info, the data, and I just looked at the expression. sad, angry, frustrated. And then it's like, I hear you say that you're frustrated. I notice that you're frustrated. And you're trying to say that I'm not listening. And you're trying to say I'm not present. Like, is there anything else that you would like me to know? And first we have to regulate ourselves, right? Because like, oh no, defense mechanism, reaction, right? And then to stay open in conflict, or to stay open is the challenge and the practice as well. But the most important and the easiest thing is just to reflect back to them what they said. So I never listen, honey. So I'm not present with you. I never do the dishes. And then when they hear that you're listening and just reflecting back over and over, not to taunt them, but to just go sure that you're demonstrating that you're listening at this moment in time. It's one of the most powerful ways of making a person feel seen, heard, loved, and understood. And that's literally what they want.
I must tell you that I've heard this from the FBI negotiator, Chris Voss, super famous dude. And he called this technique like labeling and mirroring. So he's mirroring back what you said, and also like putting a label on, okay, I can see there's a lot on your plate, for example. That is a label of everything that you've said. And it was like, I got the idea, tried it at home. Like I was like, damn, this worked. But the next time I failed. It didn't work the next time because I got like so emotionally amped up. And then I listened to John Gray, you know, he who wrote Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Just like, it's even therapeutic if you just shut up and listen to a woman. Let her speak. You don't have to solve anything. Just let her speak. That it has, like, when they've looked at brain scans, they actually get healed. It's like a therapy session if they just can speak and get seen, get held, be mirrored. But in my mind, especially if there's some critique going towards me, this was how I was acting. It was like, okay, John Gray, shut the fuck up. John Gray, shut the fuck up. And just nod your head. So I had like to have this internal monologue to just shut the fuck up. But it was like a dragon trying to come out from my voice, my neck, my chest, my mouth, just like, blah. And yeah, it's training, dude.
It's the best kind of training. I mean, we look at non-violent communication. Yeah. You did this, you did that, you did here, and you are this, and you do that. And it's like, it is completely wrong. And let's face it, like, I know very, very few people who are trained in communication. And that's why we're training every man in communication. It's not just the men who need this. The majority of things, that's why I said we're going to have a Seol for her, training exactly the same foundational pieces. Yeah. Listen, so be quiet. Listen to them in their head, like listen what they say only in their head. Suspend judgment. You can judge it later. Just listen now. Reflect. So what I heard you say in your own words, and then check if it's the time for what I just reflected back to you. Is there anything you would like to add or change to feel fully heard by me? And then until they're done, and then later you ask to build connection, because if not, it feels like an interrogation. Later you then ask for, can I share impact? And then you pick the most important pieces, like hearing you say that, I'm so sorry that you feel this way, that I'm part of creating this experience in you. This is absolutely not my intention. I would love to help you with XYZ. And what I really, really need right now is fully understand where this is coming from and what I can do to create a better space where you feel more safe, heard, listened to, whatever it is. And so I would love to create that for you. Can you just help and support me in figuring out what it is that you need most? And if that's not what you need, I'll do my best to figure it out on my own. And like this type of communication is like, why, how, what? And bringing that down. So how are we saying it? What are we saying? And specifically, why are we saying it? And that layer of communication, if it's not there, it's just chaos. It's all noise. Most communication is noise. And if we just turn down the info and the data and we look at the emotion of the two people, you're going to see hurt and probably resentful. And it's just two people trying to be heard at the same time, and that never works. Yeah. One person needs to
be the adult in the room. Yeah.
Exactly. And start listening. And then, you know, the problem is when it's very one-sided, it would be great if the other side starts doing it as well.
Yeah. So you mentioned you're going to create this program for women. So I'm super curious. what will be like the slight nuance changes for women when it comes to relating to men? I'm super curious about that.
Yeah, to simplify it, and these are big topics. They're taught in like layers and steps, and with action, and literally with practice. Like, I don't like theory too much. Theory is great to learn the practice and then embody it. So this is more an embodiment. The same as men learn to relax into their true masculine core, and women learn to relax in their true feminine core, while we always can switch over to the other. I can be nurturing. I can be receptive. I can be feminine,
Yeah.
It's not who I am.
Yeah.
I can be it, but it's not who I am. And so the same as for women. They can go into the future, train to accomplish, be all that stuff. And, why are there not more people doing that out there all the time? Because it sucks. Yeah. And some men love it and some women love it, but very few. So if we go into the difference there, men want to be admired. Admiration is respect plus love. So I admire you for the work you're doing, Morgan. Thank you for putting food on the table, for being the father that you are, for taking care of me and seeing me for who I am. Like, I admire you. That's the feeling that melts men and makes them want to do more. So if a woman really does that for the man, and the man has to behave admirable. So if a man behaves admirable, but he's criticized all the time, he will shut down and stop. Because it slowly kills him inside. And women, they want to be adored. Honey, you're the only woman for me. You're the most beautiful woman on this planet. I would choose you every day. Across the whole board, everything. If I could have any woman in the world, I would choose you over and over and over again because I adore you. You're my all. That's safety for them plus love. And so understanding just these key sequences is just okay, if I want my man to feel truly loved, I need to admire him and also treat him maybe before he becomes the man who is fully admirable. He has to hit all the marks. Admire him where he's admirable and give him feedback where he needs feedback, and do it with a little bit of finesse and he will listen. And then for the woman is show her safety through choosing her. Close all the fucking back doors, dude. And I'm not talking about you, no Freedude. Talking about all the men there who are constantly still playing in the background, yeah, but I could get another, and if I do this, and there, a woman feels that. Just close the back door one way, and it's her, and she will open up. Because that's what I've seen over and over with the men. I listen to men sometimes for years till they're ready. I listen and listen and listen until I say, this is your pattern. This is how you operate. You go through, she's the one. Then it's a good time for a while. Then there's some struggles. Then, I don't know if she's the one anymore. And then you start eyeing around you. And then you go through cycle after cycle. But every time then you marry her, then you have kids with her, then you move on. I'm like, dude, now's really the point. Over and over, you have demonstrated that you choose her. It's the back doors. See the wonder happen. No more plan B. She is the plan. You, as a couple, as a unity, you're the plan. From now on, and now, how does that change in your mind? And it's like, oh, now there's only one way. Do the work together. Install what is necessary to make the family and the relationship thrive. And then all the energy just goes in there instead of some other nonsense, trying to avoid it, trying to maybe if she changes, it's no, it's all you. It's not just you. I mean, at one point you can see it. You did everything you could, and there's no change. Well, then it's her. At some question, it's either skills or it's people. So when we put all we could in and we passed on the skills, and there is no response, it's the person.
You just answered my next question. When do you know it's a me problem and a you problem? So another thing that I picked up from what you were saying is, have you ever seen the show Married at First Sight? My wife loved those, the reality love shows, Bonde söker fru, when a farmer gonna meet a girl, and Bachelorette and whatever. They got so many names. So Married at First Sight. About another perspective, you said what the woman wants is for a man to adore her. naturally, a man hearing this might think that, okay, I just need to adore and lock in on one girl and then she's going to love me back. But she wants this adoration from a man she's already attracted by. So in a show, like in the pre-sequences before they actually meet each other for the first time when they're getting married at first sight, this woman, she said, I hate toxic masculinity. I don't want a man that's macho, machismo, or whatever. So they paired her up with a guy. Okay, nothing against redheads, but I'm just like painting a picture, like red curly hair, a bit chubby, like people pleaser deluxe. He was looking at her like a golden retriever. His tongue was almost out, like, and he was like just like over the moon for her. Like she couldn't have met anybody that would like put her any higher on a pedestal than that guy. And what happened? They had sex 0 times. She didn't want him to touch her. And she ended the whole experiment that is only 30 days before it was over. Speak on that, please.
Yeah, you're spot on with women want a man to read who they're already attracted to.
Say that again.
Women, for example, one of the highest things that women find attractive is when a man reads. But they want their man who they're attracted to read.
Yeah.
So if we look at who a lot of women sleep with, they say they want this and they want that, but then they go fuck the bartender who doesn't give a shit about her. Because she has daddy wounds. She hasn't healed herself. She hasn't understood yet what attraction is all about and how to sustain something that isn't just intensity. But also very important to bring in is adoration doesn't come from making the woman the center of their world. It's so important. So a man who makes the woman the center of the world gets lost in their world. And so a big part of masculinity is to have something way more important than her. And that is attractive. You don't need her. You want her. You don't need her to like do anything for you because you're already at a place where you understand that what is your worth? What are you bringing to the table as a man? That's the number one question. What's your worth? Do you know your worth? If you know your worth, you're going to act completely different. So that guy, Tangot, oh my God, you're my one and you're my all. Already there's like, puppy.
Yeah, puppy.
I got a puppy. Yeah, I wanted a German Shepherd dog, but I got a puppy. Yeah, like a Chihuahua. And it's just not attractive. So a man with a purpose, with a mission, with a destiny, with a group of men who are holding him accountable, taking care of his body, his finances, his relationships, playing at a completely higher game than the majority of men out there, that is just the thing. It is sexy for every woman because like, he doesn't need me. Why doesn't he need me? I don't get it. I am the number one thing in the world that men want, but why doesn't he chase me? What is going on here? It's like, well, there's different layers to the game. And the layers of the game is then a question mark. So where are we in our frequency of consciousness? So frequency of consciousness just means if I'm playing of a level of fear, then I believe a certain reality is true. If I play on a certain frequency of peace, then there's a completely different reality playing out. And so where do these people meet? And a man with a purpose and a mission and his destiny and working on himself and doing what is required, he has standards that other people don't have. He's not going to tolerate bullshit. He's not going to tolerate a woman who's going to bring him chaos. I can sing a song about that. I used to like also, like didn't know my worth, like just choosing like all kind of like weird stuff going on there. But I paid a high price, incredibly high price for certain choices that I made. And I'm grateful for the challenges it's brought because it made me a better man today. But today, I'm like, anyone who doesn't hit certain criteria, like my non-negotiables, are like, this is the baseline that I need. And if someone doesn't want to conclude that baseline, I'm super fine with it. Thank you so much for the time together. I don't think we're a good match. We don't have the same values. We don't have the same virtues. We don't have common interests. We're not going in the same direction. And I'm sorry, honey, I'm not changing paths for you. I want to walk it together. I want us to go in a similar direction together, but I'm not gonna give up myself to please you because I know that I become your doormat by doing that. And that is disrespectful towards myself. And if I don't respect myself, how can you?
Exactly. If you have a brother that's single and he wanted to meet someone, how would you coach him into finding a mate?
Yeah, I would totally first ask him, like, so write me down what kind of partner you want. Like, what are the exact features? Like everything. She's sweet, she's sexy, she's smart, she's funny. And then I'm just going to ask, how are you on all of those? Yeah, because like attracts like. So I would just say, focus on yourself first. And if they're in a very good place, I'm like, go to the right places. The woman of your dreams, where do you think she hangs out? Do you think she's in clubs? Yeah. Like, if you want to have children, do you think she's going to be in clubs partying every weekend, drinking, being surrounded by 20 dudes every time? Do you think that's the place where it's going to be? Or what type of woman do you actually want to have? And then you need to go to the places where you're probably going to find that type of woman. And then you're going to have to do the thing that no man wants to do, which is go and be rejected as much as is required.
Yeah. Share your thoughts about pickup, talking to women, trying to court a woman in order to possibly get into a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big friend of pickup lines, of any of that. What I am a friend of is actually practicing approaching. And I myself, for example, I've always been very shy in the past. So I never approached, for imagine just like 30 years, I never approached the woman I really wanted to approach.
Crazy.
It's just sad. It's just been incredibly sad. If I look back, I'm like, oh, poor little guy in the past. You're so scared to be rejected. And then, so there is, I would say, just actions that are super good to be done that could be related to these type of cultures. But I don't think playing games is going to take anyone anywhere, because in the end, how long can someone hold up a mask?
Yeah.
A few days in a stretch, but sooner or later, your true self will come through. And so whoever you choose should be loving you for who you are, not for whatever like game you're playing. And so it's just a dead end, or it's a very short one to build some confidence. I mean, some guys just feel better when they got laid a few times. It's probably good for them. Yeah, if they've never got laid, it's probably good to get laid sometimes. Like I'm just saying, like it's probably good for the confidence. But afterwards, like I don't know a man who would be willing to sacrifice a deep, loving connection for a fling. And it goes contrary to what we're experiencing, which people are betraying each other behind their backs. But that is something completely different. It's because there is an emotional, mental, spiritual betrayal happening already in the relationship where someone checked out. And I'm not saying it's the women's fault. It goes in both directions.
Yeah.
But if two people focus on giving, just give it. Just give. Don't focus on what am I getting out of this. Oh my God, he's doing more than me. Less than me, or this or there. Focus on giving. And then you will receive. And if both do that same trick, the table is always richly filled. The problem is very often that we try to love others as we would like to be loved. And there we come back to communication, understanding. How do I need to love this person so they actually feel loved? And when that is figured out, I mean, it's the deepest seduction available is to find the things the other person needs and they don't know that they need and give it to them. And that is effort and dedication and devotion. And so when that is there, I think we can unravel magic with each other. It's just a lot of effort.
And back to the point of being fearful of rejection, how would you condition or train someone to get over that fear of rejection? Because I feel that so many men, and I've been that man before, that been afraid of rejection, not approaching, not saying hi. It can even be to other guys, other dudes, other groups, just going in there saying hi, making light of things, making some jokes, or like just pointing out stuff, just like this game of social dynamics, just making it light, making it fun, bringing your energy and also your authenticity can often be blocked because you are so fearful of what the other person or group's going to think of you. So how would you train somebody to just be more present, calm, and get over that fear of rejection?
Yeah, so just to be a little more precise, because I don't like giving advice without scenarios because it's all context related. But let's say There's a guy, he wants to talk to people per se, approachable
Yeah.
them, but he's scared of rejection, and he's not so good in talking and just being there present. So the main problem that those guys usually face is that they're way too focused on how they themselves feel.
Yeah.
The anxiousness, so there's too much interoception. How am I doing at this moment in time? Too little exteroception. What is happening around me? There's also others, it's the other way around. They're too extras, much in what is happening around me, too little in what is happening in me. But very often it's like this anxiousness of what will happen. And to break that line of creating the worst case scenario, you can just go to the worst case scenario. So paint it out, wildest fantasy. I'm going to approach now people and they're going to laugh at me. They're going to call me a total idiot and they're going to joke and they're going to pull down my pants and they're going to hang me up in front of everyone to see. Yeah, whatever. Worst case scenario. And maybe they're going to kill me. I don't care. Worst case scenario. And just notice that the worst case scenario is not that bad. If we really look at it, it's survivable.
Yeah.
Especially for men, for kids and teenagers, it's a different story. But for men, like everyone after 20, 21 should be able to handle any situation and survive and continue afterwards. So there's then the other line is, what through my inaction am I losing? Because very often we calculate the cost of action, of failure, but we're not calculating the cost of the inaction. So if I approach 100 people in the next 3 months, what is the result in my network, my friendships, and the women that I will meet? And it's just mind-blowing to imagine what can happen just out of one great encounter. I mean, like, how did you meet your wife?
Do you want the real story?
Absolutely.
I was bringing dates to her cafe, and she was like, this dude with all these blondies. But no, I just felt it wasn't on an attraction level. It was like I was in awe. I was idolizing her, not for her looks, for being a woman, but for her being a entrepreneur, having an amazing brand that was like health focused. She started like the first organic restaurant and cafe here up in Sundsvall. So I was like, wow, this brand. And I was working at a design agency at that time. So I was just talking to her and sharing my own passions of self-help and health. I took her along to seminars. So we just got to be friends. And then I left Sundsvall for 5 years, and I met her for like 5 years afterwards, and we just reconnected. I had no idea that we were going to be together. I was just like, this just feels like home. I love you as a person. I love your mom, because I got to know her as well. And I was like, and I did the list you talked about, the list of who I want, the list of who I don't want, and the third most important list, who do I need to be in order to attract the one that I wrote on the first list.
Yeah.
So it was like this perfect storm.
It's ideal. And just to tie it together with the story done before, so you brought dates like the food dates.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, dates. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you bring some dates over, and there's this woman, and you can talk with her, and you have a connection. And there's one encounter, it didn't fruit right away, but 5 years later, and then there's another connection. So human communication and connection is just a must to practice. Yeah. It's one of them, like nowhere in school or in university, most of it, unless you practice that specific skill, do they teach human relationships and interactions and communication with that. Yeah. There's no training whatsoever. It's the same with breathwork or how to eat healthy and live healthy. There's no real training in any of that. And none on making money and what you can actually do. Like, no one comes to you in the beginning, hey, maybe you're a born entrepreneur. They tell you can become a baker or you can become a carpenter. It's like, dude, like they don't prepare us for the most important things in life. And our training encompasses all of those layers that they have forgotten to train grown-ups in till today. So there's one moment changed your whole life. And if there's some guys out there a little scared of approaching, just think about the moments that you're missing right now, because you are either too scared or too lazy. Lazy just meaning you need to get your ass up and do some stuff, right? Rejection, it stings And the more you get hit, the less it stings. And the more you get hit, the more you notice that it's not that bad in life. Rejection is a part of becoming a man. That is a big, important piece in entrepreneurship, it's in work, it's in business. But if you never ask, you will never receive. And that is the worst crime. Like any man not going for what they love is the biggest crime.
Amen. So true. And if I could just suggest one training wheel that men could start with, that would be just to ask for 10% off at everything you are buying. If you're going to buy a coffee, just ask for 10%. It's uncomfortable as hell for some people, and just doing that for a month, I've heard guys reporting back that just made it so much easier to get a no, because they're getting used to no and then can just escalate. Because before I was like a lot in the pickup community in my 20s, and like some exercises were like too extreme. It was like too much of a stretch. So it basically just like re-traumatized them. And they was like, okay, I'm off. I'm out of here. I'm not going near this shit. But some people stuck to it. But social conditioning has been a huge part, and going out sober, for God's sake. And just being sober is awesome, by the way.
That's the best.
Yeah, it's the best. Life sober. We've spoken a couple of times before, and I wanted to, and you mentioned it briefly here, we are not taught like the most important skills that we need in life. If you could reform school here in Sweden or in the world, what are like the 5 top skills you would want to train children today? And think of that they are children. They are not men or women at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great. I don't think there's a big differentiation, to be honest, in what men and women or children need per se, which means the most important thing in each other's lives is relationships. How, first, starting with a relationship to myself. Who am I? And so for kids to explore freely and to be supported in their exploration, and a way more customizable approach. So not all, we're going to put you all together, same age group, everyone do the same, at the same speed, all together. It's just insanity. It's never made that way. Like in tribes, there were different age groups across the whole line, many different people with many different opinions, like let's say 30 men, 30 women, and a bunch of kids, and the different age groups all bunched together, teaching each other. So the way that we're doing it right now is just like a factory. But humans are not factories. They're living beings. So like a child who goes into the next level should teach younger ones how to do that. So we step into the role of the student and the teacher. So in relationships, that's how we actually expand it. Like imagine you and me, we were in school, so most of the time we were stuck in our own age group with a limited amount of access to our parents. I had 4 brothers and sisters. Yeah, so how much attention did I really get from grown-ups? And then there's one person in the front for 30 kids. And like, no harm, teachers are doing what they can, education system is doing what they can, but there's way better systems actually that can be implemented, but it needs way more leadership and teaching different layers of how to implement that, which is the next part. So when a person has great relationships, is invited to become a student and a teacher at the same time, which forces a person to learn much, much better.
Yeah.
Is free to explore and play as long as possible. Like, why stupid tests where you evaluate someone according to some structures? I mean, my son learned 4 languages, 4, German, Swedish, Danish, and English. The English he just picked up out of nowhere because I speak it here a lot. And he was slower in learning Swedish, obviously. So my brother, for example, we were raised German, Spanish, English, and they said he has language problems. But they didn't back then understand, this is like 20 plus years ago, they didn't understand that it takes longer to integrate for someone who is trilingual. So it's like trying to box people in and try to make those pieces to fit. It's just very problematic. So customization. And then when they teaching them how to move, use their bodies properly. I mean, like sitting on a chair all day long, listening to someone who's bored in their life. Because most teachers that I had, I mean, They were not happy people. They were not inspiring. Who wants to listen to someone? Yes, and now we're gonna talk about what someone did 500.
Yeah, horrible.
Horrible, like really horrible. And so bringing in how to move, how to eat healthy. Japan is a huge example. There is no obesity crisis. Why?
Yeah, I've heard.
Every school has their own nutritionist. They're not allowed to pre-produce anything, not even sauces, the day before. It needs to be all fresh made the day of eating. And so they don't have an obesity crisis. So why is everyone obese now? I mean, look at the US 50 years ago, there wasn't obesity. So it's because of the shit food that they're feeding everyone. And we all know it. But we're all like, oh, it's normal, so we just do it. So taking care of nutrition, movement, their health, relationships, and then I think most importantly is to help them discover their true gift and genius. Because if you try to compare a monkey to a fish, you probably know that description. According to what you choose, it's going to make one look very bad and the other very good, and vice versa. So, but what if we go in and we just check this is specifically the magic that you're bringing to the world, and we support them in that. It's also going to be the big time with the identity crisis coming through AI because we're not going to be that useful anymore. If a person finds their genius and brings it to other humans, you're going to feel it, you're going to want it. And so there's not going to be any problem with like robots are taking my job. No, you're just trying to do a generic job that now a robot can do better than you or AI can do better than you. Find something that's irreplaceable, and human connection, making other people smile, happy, fixing problems, bringing solutions to the world is always going to be available. I wish someone would have told me as I was a kid, I am learning in school, Daniel, you just have to fix other people's problems or desires, and you're always going to have money. But no one came and said that and made it that simple for me to understand. So I thought I needed to first go a path of a carpenter and then here and there and trying to do the conventional way. There's brilliant people out there wasting their time right now doing generic bullshit they don't care about, not living their destiny, not living their calling. And it just makes me so sad to think about that person that deep down inside they have this incredible source of happiness for other people, and they're just wasting it in some corporate environment because it's just what they think they have to do to be successful.
And I can't understand why people are afraid of AI taking their jobs, because the vast majority don't even enjoy the work that they are doing. So it makes no sense.
I was
Isn't that true?
100%. I would say, like, I was imagine one thing, like, if the energy of all human output would be measured into what it is being put in,
Jeez Louise.
80% of what humanity is putting its energy in is trash.
100%.
It's a big bubble of a bunch of people doing something so money rolls onto the bank account. And most of the time, it just produces shit products, like cheap plastic shit that's going to be thrown away in like a moment, creating huge dumpster piles all around the globe that we're burning away or hoping someone in the future will fix for us. And then, so it's just trash production. And then the rest is just an imaginary bubble of people creating stuff for profit alone, no value, zero. I would even say the other way around. They do the devaluation of all of the goods that are available on this planet. And so there's imaginary bubbles of money making for profit with detached from value is one of the sickest cancerous cells in our society available. And we're also working right now, like every company I made had one thing first, and it said value first, profit second. I would love to say value first, humans and environment second, and then third would be profit. But I won't lie, because I'm using a MacBook, for example, right now, and I know where the things come from.
Yeah.
I'm not delusional. So as long as I'm using technology and technology doesn't uphold to a different standard, it's not human like and
Yeah.
world good for the ecology.
Yeah, I got you there. Yeah, that resonates so much. So I I want to ask you this to wrap up. What's one thing we should have talked about if we haven't spoken about it already? Is there anything we've left?
Just that I think that mentioned whatever they do, if they join us or not, like our training is quite, it's not for everyone. But for every man to create a support system of men who they trust and admire is a must. And no efforts, everyone should give the best effort to make that happen. And the same goes out for women as well. Women without support groups, but it's lesser because women just bond better in different ways. But they themselves too, especially if they're mothers with kids and everything, get yourself a support team. Get yourself a bunch of people who you love and admire and gather them around you and tell them what you really feel and think. Don't be a jackass, but also don't hide behind just being nice. No one likes that. Like, tell what has to be told. Be an ally, not a friend. Friends tell you what you want to hear. Allies tell you what you need to hear. And in that process already alone, you're going to have massive amounts of growth and support, and life will become so much better. And for the ones out there who want to really go next level and know that it's a privilege to invest the time, energy, attention, and resources for a whole year in yourself, I mean, Seoul is the place for that. That's the main thing there.
Awesome. I want to end with some rapid fire round. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, what's the rapid fire round?
Let's go. Gym or therapy?
Gym.
Awesome. Anger or sadness, which one scares men more?
Anger.
Really?
Of what I've been seeing so far in men, the majority of men are scared of their anger way more of their sadness because they're so scared what will happen if they cannot contain it.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Favorite conspiracy? That you know is a fact, a conspiracy fact. Let's call it a conspiracy fact.
Conspiracy fact is the money system is rigged and it's working to enslave humanity.
Yeah, I believe that too, 100%. Discipline or self-compassion? What's more misunderstood?
Discipline. I would say for men specifically, it's discipline because there seems to be some kind of idea that discipline is optional. Which it really isn't. You're either weak or you get strong, but you cannot be both.
Gotcha. One habit most men should quit immediately.
Drinking alcohol.
Agree.
And they still can do it at times if they have the control, but if not, like, I mean, it's the number one hack that I know that I did for who knows how many years. And once I stopped fucking myself every weekend with that shit, wow, the feeling in your body, it's so great. You're just like rising instead of like, it's weekend.
Yeah.
It's the most stupid thing that our society is allowing at the moment.
I've never mentioned this in a podcast before or publicly anywhere. This has been like something that only I know and a couple of close friends. But, you know, our common friend, Max, he came when it was my 40th birthday and surprised me. And when we went out camping, up until I was 40 years old, this was a year ago, I never been drunk throughout my whole life. Due to my upbringing, I just like saw people drunk and it just put me off in the worst way. And then I heard my grandfather, he didn't drink until he was 27. So I was like, I'm going to beat his record. During that time, up until 27, I was like, I've seen so much shit. I don't want to touch that. So I was just lucky in that regard. But then with Max, we had oxfilé. How do you say that? We had like this meat with us, the beef. We were going to grill. And he had a can of Norwegian beer. And I had alcohol-free beer. And he was, do you want one? I was like, fuck it. I'm up until this point. I never touched anything, no drugs, no alcohol. And I drank half of the beer can. I started getting a sensation in my body. And then I just yelled to Max because it was windy at the ocean where we were. I was like, Max, I hate this fucking feeling. What's going on? I don't like this. He was like, you're the first one saying that you don't like the feeling while drinking a beer. People usually say that afterwards.
Exactly.
Never touched it ever since.
You're so lucky, man.
I'm
Seriously.
so lucky. Like I really know how lucky I am with like all of my brothers. They haven't gone the same path, so I truly know how lucky I am. And so that was the one habit you think most men should quit immediately. I totally
Yeah.
agree on that one.
Well,
And one habit most men should start, even if they hate it.
there's a few. I like again. I would like specify specifically what it would be for each one, but like one of my favorite is just making it a habit to do the difficult thing that you know is right, no matter what. So you do it no matter the costs. You know it's right. You know you should do it, but you're like, do it and train that muscle in your brain and in your being to do what is right no matter the cost, because it's one of the hallmarks of masculinity.
Can you share an example from someone you've coached that did the right things, that started to do that habit of doing the right thing, though it was difficult? And what happened? What was the result of that?
Yeah, just like have the conversation with your sweetheart, you know? Just yeah, it's hard and here and there, but just open up, you know, be who you are and have the hard conversations because it can be so juicy. It could be everything you wanted, but it's on the other side of fear. So like you can equate it with any of the layers, which is always like I'm scared because this is the outcome that might happen and I don't want to shake the boat. So any difficult conversation with your parents, go talk to whoever you haven't talked to in a few years, man. Life is short, they die. And then there's regrets. There's so many stories I could like layer out specifically with that, but it's the stuff, you know, I know I should do it, but I don't want to do it. That habit to just do it anyways is a very, very good feature.
I think this is a good place for a brotherhood to have people like mirroring you, knowing more about you, because it's so easy when you're alone to rationalize why you shouldn't have that conversation, why you shouldn't start with a new habit. It's so freaking easy because you have your own blind spots.
Yeah, and if you're not around people who want to rise, very often those people are going to try to hold you back because we all know what happens with people who rise. We go beyond.
Yeah.
And so being around people who are growth oriented, they're going to stay with you longer. So being around those people who like support you when you're rising. I like that one from Hormozy always said, like, you're looking for a person who can unite both things best is people who are truly happy for you when you win, and then people who will hold you to your highest standards, no matter what,
Love that.
who help you grow. If you have those two in one, you're a total winner, especially if it's your wife.
Awesome. Yeah, love that. Thank you so much for the conversation. And I just want to say thank you for showing up for me this summer when I was going through a super hard time. You didn't need to, you didn't have to carve out time in your schedule to help me, because that really gave me a lot of support. And even though we've known each other briefly, I just want to say that that meant a lot to me, and it really, really helped me recovering from whatever I was going through during that time. So super, super thank you for giving that love and support. And I really felt that you really meant that as well.
I like, thank you, brother, for saying that. And I do. It's like I really fucking care about people. Maybe a little bit too much, but I care about you a lot, man. And I love your work that you're doing. And I wish I could just help more people. It's you know I don't have to help anyone. I don't have to save anyone. You know, like a younger version of myself was hoping for that. I like there was a moment that set me free where it was like, Daniel, you don't have to do anything. Now that you're free to choose whatever you like, what do you choose? And I checked deep inside of me and I found like, I still want to do this.
Yeah.
I still want to help as many people
Love that.
their highest fucking self as possible. And that's all that brings me so much joy. So I always feel like when I'm helping you, I'm helping myself. And we're here to build that structure, I think, out globally with each other, an alliance of not only men, but women and children and everyone, just again, helping each other out, doing that as a baseline feature. It brings so much joy. It's called service. If anyone's listening and wondering and you're not helping people in your life, try it out. It's going to bring you massive amounts of joy. So it's truly an honor and a privilege. And I'm just happy that I can support and help you, brother.
Amen. And huge thank you. Where can people find you, connect with your work, with you personally, and Soul?
Yeah, Seol or Seoul is www.seol.center, CENTER, Seoul Center. And then with me on Instagram, if you like, it's Daniel Müller X. So yeah, Daniel Müller X. You're gonna figure it out. You'll find
I'll
me.
put it in the show notes, make it easy for you. Thank you, Daniel, so much for showing up for the talk and sharing your wisdom. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and let's do this again, brother.
Gladly, anytime there. Keep on going there and bringing value to the people. I'm sure it's gonna pay out in so many ways.
For
Thanks,
sure.
Rob.
Thanks.